So I was going to put up a green screen back here, but with all the effort it's going to take with clamps and poles and everything else, it's going to take so damn long that I can't be asked. Let's just do it like this. This is the kind of incredible quality you can expect from me. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I know, this is my face, it's terrible. You clicked the video, not me. What did you expect? I'm not exactly Chris Metzen, am I? So I've decided to give this whole live camera thing a bash. Let me know what you think. There's going to be a lot of rough edges, I'm sure, but hopefully we can iron them out and make this actually kind of decent. This is going to be a pilot episode of some kind. Now, the whole point of this is that I've come to a sort of conclusion about the World of Warcraft community, and maybe, I suppose, the gaming community in general. It has a justified, I'll say that, tendency to be somewhat negative. I can fully understand this. The gaming industry is kind of a battlefield from what I've seen. There are countless examples of unscrupulous developers and publishers doing everything they can to screw over customers in the name of a quick dollar. And in return, I feel that a lot of gamers have grown very cynical about the gaming industry, which, as I said, is completely justified. Now, I can be very cynical. You have no idea. But I'd like to go in a different direction with this. Whatever this is. Because I make videos about World of Warcraft, I only really have to keep an eye on Blizzard Entertainment, not really anyone else. And I've been doing that in some form or another for about 10 years now. After seeing Blizzard's products, watching their games develop, talking to and even getting to know some of their employees and watching them talk about the games that they create, I think it's fairly safe to say that I, at least, can and do put my trust in Blizzard Entertainment to actually make games worth a damn. They aren't above criticism, for sure, but I like to think that they are putting their love and energy into these games, and that they are actually trying to make them good as opposed to just trying to milk us for money. This is a slippery slope to go down, I know, but I think for the most part that being positive about what they do is healthy. I understand this puts me in the minority, and understand this, that this does not mean they are above criticism. They have, will, and probably will continue to make mistakes. They're just human beings after all. But with such a huge vocal majority being negative, I think it might be a nice idea to go in a different direction, you know? To actually try and be positive. Maybe a tiny bit naive, and I understand that is something that might bother you, but in all honesty, I like to think that these people are doing something that they enjoy doing, and that they're putting their love into this. My hope is that a little bit of calm, rational, and positive discussion about Blizzard Entertainment and their games, and the stuff within it, will be healthy for us. Now, on to the main topic. Raiding. Why do you do it, exactly? I know that might sound a bit silly, but I think this is something that a lot of people need to actually ask themselves. Why do I raid? What is it about raiding that makes me do it, huh? Is it the scale and spectacle of the fights? Is it the complexity of actually overcoming the mechanics? Is it the people that I socialize with? Is it loot? Or do I just kind of do it? I mention this because I've met my fair share of raiders who are, for lack of a better term, assholes. People that don't put in any effort. People that don't try to get any kind of enjoyment out of killing a boss. People that just are kind of there. They don't really socialize very much, they're just kind of there. That's all they do. They raid, and they're there. I think that people like that, and really everyone, should ask themselves, why do I raid? Why exactly do I raid? Now, before I discuss why I raid, which I think is the only real way for me to get across what I'm trying to get across, because it's not fair of me to try and guess what other people feel about raiding, I just want to talk about one little thing. One reason for raiding that I fundamentally disagree with. Raiding to get loot. I disagree with this on so many different levels. This is, in my opinion, the biggest mistake you can make as a raider. To raid to get loot. Because loot is pointless. There is no reason for loot to be the be-all end-all of anything. Loot is a tool with which you use to kill bosses. Loot is not a tool with which you use to get more loot. There is no end goal with gear, no kind of way of saying, I have finished my item set, I am done, I have defeated the game. No, because with tertiary stats, with the Warforged system, with gem sockets, with all of that stuff, there is no way you can completely 100% itemize yourself, get that 100% perfect gear level you want, and then be done with it. Because that process is next to impossible. That little bit of joy you can extract from getting that piece of gear is great, but is it really worth all that damn effort? Hundreds of attempts, potentially, just to get a piece of gear with numbers on it? That's all they are. Numbers. That's what you raided for. All that time to get some numbers. Is that really why you want to raid? And what exactly are you going to use all that gear for, huh? Are you going to use it to raid so that you can get more gear? So that you can raid? Raiding to get gear is pointless because it will never, ever, ever, ever end. And there's only really one other thing you can do with loot, and that is show it off. But why? Why does loot have value, huh? Why does your gear have value? Because it looks fancy? Okay, that's fair enough. But the numbers on it are just numbers. They're just a way to incrementally increase your power. That's it. That is all they are. That stuff is not what raiding is about. It's just not. I'm sorry if you think that's what it's about, but I have to fundamentally disagree with you. Because raiding is, and can be, so much more than that. There are so many fantastic reasons to raid. Let me list a few of them off. Spending time with like-minded people and socializing, and yes, I am reading this because I'm terrible at acting. Exploring important lore areas and fighting crucial story characters. That might not mean a lot to you. Maybe not, but there are a lot of people, me for instance, that love the lore and story of World of Warcraft and that love to get involved with that and then fight the big bastard that's been antagonizing us for the whole story. What else? Challenging yourself against difficult mechanics and using teamwork and strategy to defeat it. That kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? The challenge of all these horrible mechanics and then the strategy of defeating it. It's an engaging process. Figuring it out together. That's awesome. Because it tests your mind, tests your patience, yes, but it also tests your mind, your wit, your cunning, and just how clever you really are. Isn't that great? What else? This is my favorite. Delving into the deepest, darkest dungeons with the cruelest, most difficult to kill bosses, with horrific mechanics and headache-inducing strategies, etc. And then, after all of that, which is what it can look like to someone who is new, I know that the first time I played WoW, I looked at a raid and I was like, whoa, no, I'm not going near that, that's scary. The thing is, you're able to go down to that dungeon, fight all those horrific mechanics, come back and say, yeah, we did it. We did that. Did you know that fight with the blast furnace and all that? Hundreds of thousands of swarming enemies have to find that one little one and then kill it and then suddenly burst that one down and then suddenly loads of AoE healing and then suddenly all these mobs come around, you have to position them in all the right positions and we did that. And we won. Eh? All of those reasons are 100 times better than loot that you are going to replace. It's that simple. Unless World of Warcraft ends, you are going to replace that gear. If you raided the Siege of Orgrimmar, how much of that gear do you have left, save for the transmog pieces? Do you have the trinkets, the rings, maybe the legendary cloak? But do you have all the little trinkets and the rings and all that stuff? Of course you don't! They don't serve any purpose! Because they're defunct, they're old, the stats are terrible. And you don't remember them. You can't replace the memories of raiding when you enjoy it. The engaging strategy of defeating a boss, figuring it out, the lore and the story, socializing with other people, all the stupid jokes you make. And I know you make stupid jokes because I'm English and I make stupid jokes. We all make stupid jokes. And they're funny and we laugh and we remember them and we enjoy ourselves. Those are the things that you remember. You do not remember getting into an argument with someone over a trinket which increases your numbers. That's not what you remember. And if you do remember it, then it's not going to be a happy memory, is it? No, you're going to be sitting there thinking, oh, that wasn't very fun. Why exactly am I raiding again? Exactly! If you try and remember those great times where you enjoyed yourself, maybe you didn't go into the full 100% mythic progression. So? What does that matter? Why is everyone, and this is more of a personal thing, and I'm kind of ranting now. Why does everyone want to be like Method and Paragon and Blood Legion and all those people? Why? I don't think it's going to be very fun. Why would it be? Why would leveling all those characters and then playing one of them and making sure you do this 100% perfectly and then going into this one race and then that's it? That's not fun to me. I enjoyed the process of going through a raid. I'm enjoying the Blackrock Foundry. We're currently on the Blast Furnace. Screw that fight, but we will kill it. And when we kill it, we will be happy. And I will remember that. And that will be something that has added to my life. Not, oh, here's a trinket. It's slightly better. I could go on for a while about this kind of stuff, but instead, I don't want to try and project my feelings and basically say, oh, you know, this is why you should raid. I think that everyone has their own reasons for raiding, and as such, I'd just like to tell you mine, because I think that's the fairest way of doing things, and other than the whole, you know, loot thing, which I fundamentally disagree with, I think that there are a whole bunch of different reasons to raid. This is just mine. Let me know what your reason to raid is in the comments. I raid for a very simple reason. You could just say it's fun, and that would be a fair comment to make. A game, it's for fun, etc. But consider this, there are a lot of aspects of raiding that are not fun in the slightest. Think about things like wiping constantly on bosses, dealing with assholes, dealing with complaints over the mother bloody loot, things like that. Constantly wiping on a boss, struggling to get a raid started because of DCs or attendance issues, things like that. Those things are not fun. Wiping on a boss, for instance, that you have constantly killed before and suddenly you're wiping on it. That's not fun, because you've killed that boss. You should be doing other things. That's not fun. Those are the lows. However, those lows are important in my opinion, because of the highs that are created because of those lows. Those highs could be all kinds of different things. They could be beating a boss in a faster record time than you have in the past. That's a nice feeling. It could be outperforming yourself, you know, in a fight, doing more damage, more healing, being more survivable, being able to dance around the enemy mechanics better, not getting hit by this or that, doing better at a fight, seeing yourself improve. That's a good feeling. But none of them can compare to that feeling. If you raided, you must know what this is. That feeling. Wiping over and over and over again on a boss, and then winning. Killing the boss. That one moment after the boss that you've been bashing your head against for ages falls over and dies, where loot, etiquette, rules, responsibilities, problems, none of it matters. It just doesn't, because you killed the boss. And that one little pure fragment of joy in that single moment. I mean, there's a reason why guilds scream when they kill bosses, because you don't see it on the video. It is constant wiping. It really is. It is constant dying and dying and dying, failing and failing and failing and failing and failing, and then you win. And then it's victory, and you did it right. You did the dance right. You used your cooldowns at the right time. You moved properly. You did his little dance, and he died. He fell over. The boss is dead, and it is phenomenal. It is the best feeling ever. That little moment of pure joy is why I raid. Because the feeling of killing the Lich King for the first time, of beating Garrosh after nearly 100 attempts, of beating the Iron Juggernaut after, oh god, it was like 2 in the morning. We stayed up so late, it was nearly the end of the expansion, the pre-patch was about to come and ruin everything. Progression wouldn't mean anything anymore, we wouldn't have the people to do Mythic. We were so desperate to kill it. And then we did. In the last attempt, we did it. People were tired, they were angry, they were depressed, they were not having fun. But we did it! We killed it! And that moment of joy at the end, where everyone just goes, oh, we did it. We did it together, and it was fucking awesome. That is why I raid. And if you try that, and if you try to get a bit of enjoyment out of those moments, well, you might enjoy raiding much more too. Let me know why you raid in the comments. It might be something completely different to why I raid. Maybe it's the same. Let's find out. Maybe next time we do this, whatever this is, we'll be able to have a discussion about your responses and actually be able to link these shows together. If another one happens, I'll see about doing that. Of course, let me know what you think, because that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you found it helpful. Hopefully you're not too terrified by my ugly mug, but, you know, what can be done? Not much, really. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or suggestions, you can contact me using the links in the description, or you can just leave a comment. I will be more than happy to have a discussion with you about what we talked about in this video. As always, I offer my thanks to my patrons for their continued support, with thanks today going to... oh dear. I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, and I thoroughly apologize for what I'm about to say. Pierre Alexandre Asselin. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I got that wrong, but thank you very much, Pierre. You know what? I'm gonna go now. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with your gaming endeavors.